He ran hard, his lungs gasping for air, plunging through the forest, slapped by branches, tripping over roots. He scrambled up the hillside like a four-legged beast, his hands and feet clawing his way ever higher into the mountains. Terror drove him, animal terror. He ran harder, faster. The summer night was dark. A crescent moon flickered through the branches, cold and impassive. There were 3 men behind him, possibly 4. He didn't know if they had dogs. He hadn't heard barking, but he wasn't certain. If there were dogs, they would rip him apart. The air was thin at this altitude, and the mountain was steep. He struggled to breathe, but there wasn't enough oxygen. It was like drowning, craving air and never getting enough. He came to a rocky stream and jumped across to the far bank. He could hear the men behind him thrashing through the brush, but they were some distance away. If he could lose them, he might be all right. He had been a long-distance runner in his youth, the track team at Cambridge University, but that was a long time ago. The branch of a pine bough sent him tumbling backward onto the ground. He lay for a moment, sucking air in raspy breaths. The lower part of his leg throbbed with pain. Not far away he heard a whoosh of wings as a large bird swooped down through the trees onto its prey. There was a high squeal of terror from the creature who was caught. The night was full of death. They say a drowning man sees his life flash by in an instant, but he saw only disconnected shards. His mother holding his hand, a summer day in Hyde Park, a girl he had seen for an instant in a cafe in Paris. A shout from the forest below brought him out from his stupor, a human voice calling to someone, more of a sharp yelp than actual speech. He couldn't stay here. Get up, he told himself. Get up and live. He picked himself up and ran. The shout came again, closer than before. I'm going to die, he thought. Was there a cave, somewhere to hide? He stumbled out of the trees onto a mountain meadow. The tall grass was silvery in the moonlight. A pair of glowing eyes peered at him from across the meadow. The eyes weren't human. These were animal eyes. His heart nearly burst with fright. 3 enormous elk stood in the meadow. His sudden appearance worried them, and they ambled away into the trees. He couldn't go further. He was 71 years old. He had nothing left. It was too much to ask. He sank to his knees with the certainty that this mountain meadow was the last place on earth he would ever know. The animals would eat his flesh, scatter his bones. He had always imagined death differently. A car crash in California, a coronary in London, his transatlantic flight plunging into the ocean. You never know where death would find you. And now, here it was.